All right, everybody, welcome back. Good afternoon. We've got a handful of more prospects to look at. Just a few guys that I missed for one reason or another, and this is probably the end, people. This is probably the last prospect evaluation video. If there's a curveball in the next few days, I guess I could make another one, but more than likely, we're calling it here, and if I miss somebody that the Seahawks end up drafting, then so be it. But we got a few guys to look at here. Jabbar Muhammad is going to be our first candidate. Former Washington Husky, former Oregon Duck, so he's a player that I'm relatively familiar with as a Husky fan. And you might think that because I'm a Husky fan, I might have an affinity for him, but I don't. I think there's a lot of problems here with Mr. Muhammad. The one thing that I can say about him is that he does have legitimate ball skills. His ability to make plays on the ball, pretty strong. But everything else, it makes you wonder how this is going to work. He's tiny, barely over 5'9", barely over 180 pounds. He's got the shortest arms of any cornerback in the last 26 years of the combine. He's not very athletic. Like, he can't even vert. His vert was sub 30 inches. His 3-cone was over 7 seconds. You're not seeing anything that makes up for his small size. If anything, you're looking at this and you're like, this guy better be over 6 feet tall and over 200 pounds to justify this. Some of the big boards really like him. The Draft Network has him in the second round. I think that's absurd. I think that's kind of embarrassing. The Walter Football has him in the fourth. PFF and ESPN have him going undrafted, just to give you an idea of how big the range is here. Aggregate has him in the sixth. He's got production, mostly ball production. Over the last 2 years, he has 28 passes deflected. So he's finding his way to get his hand on the ball. Had 3 interceptions for the national championship runner-up Huskies in 2023. And his coverage metrics are good. He doesn't allow a lot of completions. He gets targeted a lot, but he doesn't give up a lot in coverage. Really good at the catch point to make plays on the ball. He's got great ball skills. He had success in 3 different programs. He does have some ability in press coverage as well, but guess what I'm going to say next, right? How is he going to press in the NFL with these tiny little baby arms? It's impossible. He's got some of the shortest arms ever for the position. There's just no way he's going to be able to press at the next level. Very undersized with tiny arms. He's not a reliable tackler, and he'll never be because he's too small and he has baby arms. Like, there's just no way he'll ever be a good tackler. He bites on fakes too aggressively. He's somebody that you can trick with double moves for sure. The cerebral elements of playing the position are not where they should be. I don't feel like he's an especially cerebral player in terms of reading routes and reading plays. I believe that, the only way he makes it in the NFL is as a nickel corner. He'll have to be a slot guy, and he didn't really play slot in college. He played outside corner, and he was mostly a bump and run guy. He was press and go. You can't press from the slot in the NFL, and even if you could, I mean, you're not going to do it with these arms, so it's like, how is this going to work at all? He's going to have to be rebuilt from the ground up to play in the slot. So I don't see this guy as being draftable. I could see him as a UDFA to maybe help a little bit on special teams, but I don't see nothing that's worth a pick. So UDFA in my book, I just don't see a point. Next guy we're going to look at here, Cam Alexander, also an Oregon corner. And the only reason we're looking at him is because the Seahawks met with him for a top 30 visit recently. So I figured he'd be worth a look. I want to try to at least look at the guys we visit with. But there's very little to go with on this guy. He did not go to the combine, so we have some rough measurements from a scouting website. I think it's, NFLDraftScouting.com. And we have his pro day numbers, which are very good, but they're pro day numbers. So, who knows, right? Like, 11 foot 1 inch broad is great. 41.5 inch vert is great. But it's a pro day, so who knows? None of the big boards I use had him on their list. The aggregate has him at 480. So he's got an uphill battle to even get drafted. He basically did not play in 2024, not because he got hurt. He transferred to Oregon, and then a couple other players transferred to Oregon and took all this playing time And Alexander basically, he was a backup. He was a pure backup. He played less than 100 plays on the season. The one year he actually played basically the whole year, it was at UTSA. And he had a pretty decent year. 15 passes broken up, 26 of 54 completions allowed. He actually had really good coverage metrics. PFF score was good, 34 tackles. So he produced, but that was 2 years ago on a smaller school. So the main thing that you're looking at with Cam Alexander is just how explosive he is. He is a phenomenally explosive athlete, and this gives you an indication that he might be something you can develop. His ball production in 2023 was really good. His coverage metrics overall were really good too. He wasn't somebody who was getting beat constantly when he was going for those batted passes. He's also someone who was praised for his speed. Didn't necessarily show up at his pro day, but if you look at coaches talking about him and you look at the tape, he does look faster than 4.48. So there is something here that maybe could turn into something. But he's not really a physical specimen. Like the UTSA corner is becoming like an archetype. Woolen, and this year we've got Za Frazier. This guy is not that. He is much smaller than those guys. 5'11", 183 pounds. He's not very big at all. He basically got shelved in 2024. He didn't get hurt. He just wasn't as good as the guys in front of him at Oregon. And you're probably looking at a guy you're going to have to develop over multiple years because he has so little experience. And the experience he does have is at a smaller school. And unlike somebody like Woolen, he's not going to be able to just completely lean on his athleticism and physical abilities. So, 7th rounder, UDFA project to work on. He's not nearly as, he doesn't jump out to you the way a guy like a Woolen or a Za Frazier does, but there are some things here that are good. He's got some workable ball skills, and he's got big-time explosion in his hips. So if you get to UDFA and he's there, I'm for it. I don't think I'm spending a pick on him. I mean, if you spend a 7th round pick on him, who cares? I'll do that. Doesn't matter, but I don't know if he's really worth it. And that was the end of the list for me. So real quick, just for fun, just to mix it up a little bit, there are a couple of special teamers, and they have very exotic names. So I am definitely going to mess this up. But if you want to know who is generally considered to be the best kicker in this draft, it's probably Andres Borregales of the Miami Hurricanes. And he is projected to be drafted on the aggregate barely. So there's one kicker / punter that is expected to get drafted this year. It's this guy, and it's so close he could just as easily go the other way. He's been good for the last couple years for Miami. He's got a pretty good leg. He's been decent on kickoffs. 18 of 19 last year, 2 for 2 on 50-plus yarders. Year before that, 22 of 26, 4 of 6 on 50-plus yarders. So, pretty good production. Miami does score a lot of touchdowns, though, so he doesn't get as many opportunities as some other kickers, but he's got a 50-plus yard leg. He can nail 55. He can nail it up to 55 yards reasonably well. He's been accurate over his entire collegiate career. He's a 4-year starter, so he should be ready to play now. He's done a lot of kickoffs over the last couple years. He's not stellar at it. He's good enough at it, but honestly, not being stellar at kickoffs might be good because they're changing the touchback rule, and they're trying to make it so you can't just boot it to the end zone. So having a guy who boots it to like the 2 or 3 yard line might be ideal. And he doesn't have a cannon leg. It's not a 55-plus yard leg. He's not hitting 60-yarders, but the guy has a good leg. So I still wouldn't draft him, but he is the best kicker probably. He doesn't have the elite power of a kicker that I would want if I'm going to use a pick on him. And then the best punter is probably Alex Mastromano of the Florida State Seminoles. Big punters, 241 pounds. This guy's like linebacker size. This guy's bigger than most linebackers actually as a punter. Not expected to get drafted or anything, but he is probably the best punter here. Had 2 really good years for Florida State. 2 years ago, he had a season where he had 67 punts and only 13 of them got returned. And he only has a few touchbacks over the last couple years as well. So really good directional punter. He's got a massive leg. Directional punting is great. Very rarely does he put it in the end zone. He has some speed to run fake punts as well. Like he's faster than the average punter. Has a lot of experience holding kicks. So he's going to be ready to fill that role. He did kind of regress a little bit in 2024. He had a lot of returnable punts in 2024 compared to 2023. He is someone who has spent his whole career playing in warm weather. I would hesitate to put him in a cold weather city. There are some inconsistent mechanics with him in terms of repeating the same motion over and over and over. And while he's theoretically going to be a pretty good last line of defense because he's so big and fast for a punter, he doesn't have a lot of experience doing it. I don't think he is I don't think he's a draft pick guy. I don't think he's somebody you need to be spending a pick on. Certainly a priority UDFA if you need a punter, but I don't think you need to do anything more than maybe like a throwaway 7th round pick. Okay. I'm out of here, guys. That's it. We're done. So let me know what you guys think. Maybe there will be one more video like this if the Seahawks mix it up with their last handful of top 30 visits, but this is probably the end. So let me know what you think down below. See you guys later. Go Hawks.